Today I'm going to teach you guys how to layer HTV using your Cricut. So I know there's a lot of questions whenever it comes to using more than one color of HTV. So I'm going to show you guys the proper heat settings, how long between each layer, and all of those things. So not only am I going to teach you guys about using HTV with multiple layers, I'm going to show you guys where to get some free SVGs. So if you guys are just starting out, or whether you guys are a pro and you guys are looking for some really good freebies, make sure you guys check out our free resources. So this is one of the bundles. This is not only just a design, this is an entire bundle that is free. It includes 15 SVGs. And so you have stuff from Dear Santa, it was my brother, Dear Santa, it was my sister. So you could create a matching little pajama set this holiday season. There is all sorts of good ones inside of here. I have this bundle linked down below so you guys have really quick and easy access to it. And what's amazing about our free designs, you just simply have to hit download free now and it's going to send it straight to your computer. You don't have to take it all the way through the checkout cart, any of those things. Now, if you want to know where those free resources are, all you simply have to do is go up here to the top where it says free designs. You can even narrow it down to sublimation designs, SVGs, whatever you want, or simply just hit free designs and it's going to take you there and you're going to see all of those goodies. Now, you can also put your phone number in here so that way it will let you know every time we release new ones, so you guys have quick access to grab all of those free designs. So now that I've taught you guys how to get some free SVGs, once you download that to your computer, you're simply going to upload it to Cricut Design Space, Silhouette, whatever software that you are using. So as you can see here on the right hand side, we have 3 different layers. You could change the colors of these by simply coming over here, hitting ungroup, selecting the color. Say for example, I want to change this green and I actually want it to be a purple. I can do all of that here so I can visually see what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and hit the back button there. And then also if I wanted them all to be the exact same color, I want it to cut all out in one piece, you can simply come down here to weld. It's going to weld everything together and make it one file, as you can see now on the right hand side. And just like that, you could cut it out red, green, black, whatever you wanted to do. All right, so now that I've showed you guys pretty much the basics of working with a file, I've already resized this, it's ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and hit make it. From here, I'm going to go ahead and choose on the map because I'm using the Cricut Explorer 3 today. We're going to hit continue. Now, once again, if you guys are new to using a Cricut and HTV, you want to make sure that you mirror this. So whenever you're using heat transfer vinyl, iron-on, you want to make sure you have that mirror turned on. Now, the really awesome thing about the materials that I'm using today is they're all going to have different styles here, different looks to them, but they all have the exact same cut settings and the same heat settings. I'm going to go make sure that guy's going to stay on. So the materials that I'm actually using is Caesar Easy Weed in black here. And then I have this green is actually Caesar Sparkle. So what's really cool is it is a glitter HTV without the texture. So it feels identical to the Caesar Easy Weed. So it has those exact same cut settings. I highly recommend that you guys check that one out. It's my absolute favorite. The next one here is the Caesar Electric. So they have these really amazing iridescent shine to it whenever you guys just kind of move it out in the light. So this one right here, I do believe is called Cherry. I have all of these linked down below for you guys, but once again, same cut settings, same heat settings. And so those are the materials I'm using. So what I'm gonna be able to do is over here in Cricut Design Space is choose Everyday Iron-On, and that's gonna work with your Caesar materials or any other brand that you're using that is just a basic HTV. So another little tip from me is all of these are gonna use the exact same settings and you don't wanna tell it each time. Make sure that you guys turn on this little checkbox here, and that's going to remember the material settings while you have this cutting. So what we're going to do now, once again, if you guys are new, you want to make sure you load the glossy side down on the mat. We're going to go ahead and load it. And then the really cool thing about basic HTV, you can use your blue mat, purple mat, green mat, whichever mat you would like. So now I'm going to go ahead and load this, and then once it kind of goes through and does its thing, it's going to give us a flashing play button. We're going to go ahead and hit go. So I'm going to go ahead and let this one cut out. Once this one is done cutting out, I'll start to weed that one, and then we'll let the machine cut out our next layer. All right, so let's unload this color here. I'm just going to go ahead and flip my mat over here, peel that one off, and load the next. For the next one here, we are using that Caesar Glitter Sparkle in green. I'm going to go ahead and hit that go button and let it start to cut out. Once again, I'm going to start to weed this one out. Now, just a little tip here, if you are struggling, especially in the winter months, to weed out your HTV, all you simply need to do is add a little bit of heat to your Cricut pad. And then you want to make sure you're putting that glossy side down, not your material, or it's going to stick. And then you're just going to go ahead and line this up here, rub it down just until you can feel that everything's nice and warm. And then we can proceed with the weeding. So let's go ahead and unload this color and load the next. We're gonna go ahead and hit go, and then I'm gonna go ahead and keep weeding everything out. Now we are ready for our shirt. So first things first, make sure that you have your Cricut Easy Press or heat press ready to go. I have mine 320 for 30 seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and just go right on top of my t-shirt for around 5 to 10 seconds. This is going to pull out any sort of moisture and smooth everything down. Once you have your t-shirt all smoothed out and that moisture removed out of there, I would go ahead and line up your pieces. So you can go ahead and lay this on a flat surface. Make sure you don't lay it on that hot t-shirt. So you can definitely do it on the t-shirt before you add the heat. Just make sure if you're gonna line it up on your t-shirt that your t-shirt is completely cooled down. So what you're gonna be doing is lining these pieces up in the order that they're gonna go. So for me, for example, the first one's going to be the black layer, and then it's the red, and then it's the green on top of that. But I'm just making sure about where everything is going to go, so that way this is one solid piece. I can go ahead and fold it in half, get a crease mark, and figure out about where I want this to go, because having all of those layers together is going to help me ensure that my design is going to go right where I want it on this t-shirt. So I can go ahead and check that I'm around 3 to 4 fingers down, and then I'm going to come down just a little bit more here. Something right about there looks great. So then once you have that, you're just going to smooth everything down, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove everything except for that bottom layer. Now here's the important tip when it comes to layering HTV. So what you want to do is around a 2 to 5 second tack down. If you're using Caesar brand, for example, it's a 2 second. For example, if you're using something like Cricut, it's 5 seconds. So just depending on that material and that thickness. So for me, I'm just going to set it on here. I don't even need to set the timer. I'm just knowing I want to go about 2 seconds. As you can see, my carrier sheet came up with me, and that's totally fine. So you can see 2 seconds is good enough. 2 seconds, this thing was ready to go. So you're just gonna go ahead and remove that, and then we're gonna go ahead and line up our next piece. So you can either layer all your pieces together and then peel like we just did a second ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and line these up right about here. Looks good. I'll remove brother, get that out of our way. So you can see that this is covering that deer, it was as well. So it was covering my black layer. If it wasn't covering your black layer, you would take that piece from your black layer, your top layer, and you would add it back on top. But right now this is protecting everything. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go down for 2 seconds. So this is probably around 2 seconds. Pull that up. This time my carrier sheet stayed down. Once again, we're gonna go ahead and peel. Now make sure that you have a warm or a hot peel. If it's a cold peel, you will have to let it cool down and then peel, so that way it doesn't try to come up with you. So make sure that you check out your brand. So I get a question all the time of where do you find out whether it's a hot or a cold? Wherever you purchase it from. So say for example, if I purchase this from Caesar, I can go to their website or even 143, wherever you've purchased this from, and you can go down below and see those settings. Where Cricut, you could go over on Cricut, they have an app and all of those things that'll tell you whether it's hot or cold. All right, so next up, we're gonna go ahead and take brother. So I'm gonna line this about where it goes, something about like that. We're gonna take that same piece that I just pulled off, and we're gonna cover everything else just to make sure everything's safe. So we're gonna go ahead and go on top of everything this time, and now I'm gonna hit that go button, and this time we're gonna go for the full 30 seconds. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and lift this up. Once again, making sure all of my material is a warm or a hot pill. I'm gonna go ahead and move my mat out of the way because this will retain heat. So if you're waiting for it to cool back down just a little bit, my red was trying to peel up with me, so I've decided to let it cool down just a little bit and then peel. So anytime that your material is trying to come back up with you, it probably just needs to cool down. You don't need to keep adding heat to it. That's where a lot of us in the beginning, we think it just needs more heat, more time, and it doesn't. It just needs to completely cool down and then peel, or even let it cool down a little bit further and then peel. So now I'm going to go ahead and peel off my carrier sheets very slowly. And there you guys have it. We have layered our very own t-shirt using HTV. So you guys can see with that shift hopefully there. We've got that really fun electric that just kind of gives it that shine and zazz, if you will. And then we have that glitter that just gives it that extra vibe. And what I love about it is it all has the exact same texture. So if you have a kiddo that does not like texture, this is perfect for them. So I do highly recommend that you guys check out the Caesar Sparkle if your kiddos don't like that glitter texture, especially for the babies or the little ones and things like that. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.